What if I tell you that right now in my pocket I have a phone that is only 120 grams and it's so tiny, and it just also have a physical keyboard and it still works, right? You're gonna think this guy's crazy, right? We know the phones, they're just so big. Well, let me show you. I'm not joking, guys. This is the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10 Mini Pro, guys. And yeah, this is a very tiny phone, right? It was released June 2010, so it's almost 15 years old. I am going to boot it right now so they can see it's still working, and in this video I'm gonna show you a bit more of, yeah, that sweet goodness. So this thing here, right, it's tiny. You can see my hand, right? Really tiny. 120 grams, guys. 240 by 320. Yes, phones were exciting back in the days, and I'm not saying that they're not exciting right now, it's just that they're so big one might just miss something as tiny as this thing with a full QWERTY keyboard. Alright guys, let's dive deep and see what this baby has. And yes, it runs on Android 2.1. Alright, let's start. So here we are with the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10 Mini Pro, guys, and this phone is just a true gem. It was released June 2010, guys, weighs only 120 grams, and the best thing about this phone is, yeah, it is a full-size QWERTY keyboard. Now, when this phone was released, it was using Android 1.6, and something that I found to be very amusing, since I own this phone for so many years, and yes, it still uses its original battery. You can also put a micro SD card because it has a micro SD-HC slot, and there are many other things that we have long forgotten. So let's just see what we have here. Okay, we have a physical power button, and also, guys, a proper headphone jack. Why? Of course, this is Sony Ericsson, so you can load up your Walkman application and just enjoy the premium experience. By the way, right, this phone is not alone. There are many others from that series. I think this is the X8, and as you can see, this is a bigger sibling, but this is not a Pro version, and this one doesn't really have a physical keyboard. But okay, I just wanted to show you the Walkman application, and yeah, this one here has also the headphone jack. And what is so amusing about this phone is that the screen size, guys, is only 2.5 inches, so it's 2.55 inches, 240 by 320 resolution. Let's see what we have on the right side. So we have the volume rocker, all right, and as you can see, by the way, it still operates after so many years, all right. And yeah, what is this thing here, guys? Just pay attention. What happens when I press this button? Well, this is actually a proper camera button, okay? This is something that right now we see in a lot of the modern phones. Yeah, we had a camera button, and you might wonder why. Well, if we have a camera button, then on the back, of course, you'll be able to find a camera. Now, this camera, guys, is only 5 megapixel and can record video also 480p. But it is what it is, guys. So this is really from the early ages. It uses the Snapdragon S1 processor, and the battery size, by the way, you can remove the battery if you want, right? The battery size, guess what? It's only 930 mAh. Besides this, guys, it's just a beautiful phone, and I'm gonna walk you around the menu, and then we can together assess like how good was this back in the days. But back to the screen size, it's TFT, right? 65,000 colors, guys, and yeah, no Gorilla Glass here, but also scratch resistant glass, and it does use the Timescape UI. Initially, it was released with Android 1.6 the download, and yeah, you can upgrade it to the 2.1 version, which I did, and this is the Eckler version. Now, how do you check this, guys? You can go inside the settings, right, and then just scroll to About Phone. Like, some things are still the same with Android. Let's scroll down, and you can see that the firmware version is 2.1. It's the update one. And in case you wonder, the Qualcomm Snapdragon S1 wasn't that mighty, right? Only 600 megahertz, guys, ARM 11. And yes, because it's Qualcomm, it does also have an Adreno GPU. Adreno GPU 200. Alright, guys, so this is pretty much as good as you're gonna get. 5 megapixel camera on the back, and yeah, you are able to shoot also video 480 1080p guys, only 30 FPS. And right now I don't have a memory card, but imagine if I put a macro SD, I'm gonna be able to take pics like a boss. And yeah, it has a proper viewfinder. It is a proper phone, and not only a proper phone, it is a proper smartphone. Now you can see I am connected to the Wi-Fi, so it supports Wi-Fi 802.11. The Bluetooth is 2.1. It has GPS and AGPS. And also guys, remember the days when the phones had stereo FM radio? Yeah, so it has radio and RDS, but for that you need to plug the headset here that will act as an antenna. And yeah, you can charge it also from the port here. No USB-C of course, right? 2010 micro USB 2.0. It has all the proper sensors guys, the accelerometers, the proximity sensors, the compass, so it's pretty much a full-fledged phone, or at least it was 15 years ago. And now guys, just let's try to appreciate that for a moment, right? This is the main interface, and as you can see guys, we just have 3 buttons. So this one here will bring us this menu from where I can change the wallpaper, right? Or even arrange widgets, or let's say do something else. For example, I want to arrange my icons. So imagine guys, 15 years ago I was able to do things like this to arrange my icons on the home screen. And this is new to a lot of users from some certain brands. And yes, I'm not gonna say it, but Apple, I'm pointing at you obviously. So this is the main interface, right? And we have to appreciate just how cool those animations are. I mean, can you imagine guys, like we do now animation testing and we are checking all the time for how fluid user interface is. But take a look at this. We have a phone from 15 years ago, right? And it feels fluid even nowadays, right? So this was the menu to bring me the wallpaper change and the arrangement of widgets and arrangement of icons. This one here will bring me directly to the home screen, and I can juggle it from here where I have my widgets to the home screen. And of course, this is a back button. Okay, so I can decide to place any custom icons here. When I click it one more time, I'm gonna get to my app section. And by the way, this is still the original software, right? So let's test it guys. I can open browser, right? I don't have a SIM card, and you can see sometimes typing with this phone is not easy, right? Like we forgot how to use this, but because remember, we do have a physical keyboard, I can always go and use it. And let me show you, I'm going to type YouTube, all right? So let's type YouTube. Oh, it's already there. I wanted to show you something guys, like you're not even able to access or use almost anything right now on the internet because the software on this phone is so old. And yes, the APIs changed, and you can see sadly your device is no longer supported. But the thing is, well, you can still try to browse for some sample sites. Like I told you, we do have the FM radio. If I am to connect it to a headset, I'm gonna be able to search the sound waves for proper radio, and it should actually work. We do have the album. Right now I don't have anything, but just appreciate the loading and the animation. This was just so good 15 years ago. I have a proper email client. I don't think I ever used that one. All right, we of course the market, and this is guys still the original market that came in Android 2.1. And I try to sign in, it's not a good idea, nothing really is going to work. We have alarm clock, so I can press add new, and you can see how responsive and fast the menu is. So I can click on the calendar, I can go back on my menu, I can use also this button to go directly to the home screen, or what happens when I just keep holding it guys, it's going to bring up my task manager. And now I have the calendar, the FM radio, the alarm, market and email applications open, right? So this is just as good as it was like 15 years ago. Let's see, there are more. You can do backup and notes, of course. So when you open the notes, right, add a note, right, again, fancy animation. If you don't want to use this weird keyboard there, we can just properly type. I mean, I know QWERTY keyboards are not loved these days, although Mr. Mobile shared an interesting video. You can check it up, I think some days ago. Some people still prefer to have the physical touch, and with the BlackBerry being so big at that point, is kind of understood why a lot of the brands also went for this. But what I do love about it, just take a look guys, like this is so satisfying. One more time. All right, okay. And remember, I own this since almost 10 years, so probably even more. Like I've done this a million times. Okay, I know it sounds a lot. I've done this a lot of times and it survived. So what do we have here? This is the timescape. Timescape displays information from your friends. This includes missed calls, messages and other content from popular services. So you can see they try to do some social feed aggregation back in the days. Alright, video, apparently right now I don't have any videos. We do have maps. Now that's interesting. Is maps gonna work? I don't think so. Oh, probably it will. Alright, let me close it. And guys, I do still have the original YouTube client. And what is funny enough, some of the history is there. But guys, even with being connected to my Wi-Fi, I'm not able to use this client. And there is also a Facebook client. Well, Facebook is really old, like probably older than the phone. And then guys, we do have the music player. And you can see again, just pay attention like how these elements develop. Now, if I hold this button again, right, can we do something from here? Yeah, we can just go and circle switch through all our open applications. And you can see the interface is very, very responsive. If I need to access something on my quick screen, I can just directly hit here, boom, and then I can go either to my dialer or let's say to my content book, or let's say I can decide and place any other app here. I can take the notes and put it here, boom, and now you see I have this animation. And what I do love about this is just see 15 years ago, really, people put some thoughts on how all these elements align, how they will just be presented, and no stutter and no lag. I think we have to give credits for this. Alright guys, now some games, Google Email, Talk, Timer, some more games. We have the geodocs, we have a setup guide, we have navigation, we have latitude, sync, places, and there is plenty, right? Office Suite, some more games, Play Now, voice search, and of course the camera. So this was a full-fledged smartphone. And I guess also providing business users some advantages with this QWERTY keyboard here. It's a full-fledged keyboard, by the way. You can see we have the shift, we have the enter, the space bar, everything there, the numbers. So it was a very, very cool phone. This also was released without a Pro version, meaning that, yep, no keyboard. Was also very, very slim. Now, I don't think this is a fat device. Again, it weighs only 120 grams. I love it. It's beautiful. I'm never going to sell this. I'm just gonna keep this as a memorabilia from the old times, guys. And I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. And yeah, I have so many old phones. I think I showed like the Nokia and 70, stuff like that. Maybe I can do someday a video about this phone. This is using a custom ROM, and I think it's Android 4. It's also rooted, like remember the days we used to root our phones. Some people still do it because there are, believe it or not, some gains. But for now, this thing here, the Xperia X10 Mini Pro, is the main star of this video, and just appreciate all the lines here. It's very, very beautiful. The only thing I had to do at some point was to remove the glossy finish because it started to fall apart, and I did that with the W40, so it was not the best experience, but I think I managed to preserve it, guys. So now I have this like custom version, all made finish, and I like it. Here you have the Xperia logo, Sony Ericsson 5 megapixel. We do have also an integrated flash. Yeah, this is peak smartphone design from 15 years ago. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to watch something more recent like the S25 Ultra or the iPhone 16 Pro Max or the Vivo X11 Pro Mini, be my guest and check my channel. Stay safe, VST over, and bye.